Hello, everybody from around the world. This is Samson Li from California, and we have a fantastic guest today for our real talk. We have an amazing individual, an icon in our industry, all the way from Colorado, Christine Peterson. Hi, Christine. How are you?
I'm great, Samson. How are you? Isn't this fun to have a nice evening chatting and sharing with the world?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And all of you out there, if it's your first time on this podcast, welcome. So, for the next maybe 15, 20 minutes, we're just going to share a little bit about what's happening in the world, how people are, and, how people are getting ahead. And I think, you saw a little bit of the video at the beginning now about, the project that we're doing. But today, like I said, we have a very special person with Christine Peterson here. For those of you who don't know Christine, Christine comes from a background of entrepreneurship for I'm afraid to say how long, but how long have you been an entrepreneur, Christine?
43 years.
Wow. And I know, from what you have done and knowing you and just your work ethic, your heart for people, you have grown business around the world and also really achieve to the pinnacle of our industry. So we're lucky to have you. And but let's get into it. I know a lot of people out there, maybe somebody invited them on this podcast and to find out more information and to really put in perspective what's going on. And I think I would say not only in the US, for the world, things have come to a point where, especially this past, I would say probably 10 years, people are starting to get more disillusioned and, they see things shifting and it seems totally out of control in their life. So, well, what about you? What is your perspective of how people are nowadays?
Well, I agree with you. The whole world is really changing. It's almost like we're at the dawn of the 18th century when the Industrial Revolution emerged and factories, economics, everything changed the world, and the yeoman got left behind. And I think that's kind of what's happening now. We have now the AI revolution, and it's not it's like lightning speed, and it's affecting everyone. But I think if we kind of back up, I think it really kind of started when we were in COVID. I think at that moment things changed. People looked, we got shut in, we were closed in, and we lost our hopes, our dreams,
Hmm.
and now we emerged out of here and looking around the world, and now we have this AI coming, and you have a billion robots coming, and you're afraid of losing your job, or maybe the young people are afraid of can they even get a job when they come out? You know, I watched this in the 90s where children, or I won't say children, but young adults went to school and they got their educations, and then there were no jobs. But I
Hmm.
took advantage of that. And I think that's what we all have to know, that there is an opportunity. There's always a silver lining in every cloud. And
Yeah.
so I think that's what our industry has to offer. We have a platform where everyone, men, women, young people, older people like myself, uh, are young. I say 82 young because I'm going to live to over 100. I think this is really, really exciting because now you have something to offer them. And I think there's no better platform than what we have. Otherwise, I was reading about this, and I do try to keep reading all the time. I was reading about Goldman Sachs. They said the other day that like 300 million people will lose their jobs, and that like people that get laid off at 49 or 50 are really vulnerable, that age group. And if you're on this call, you might be in that group and you're just a little bit nervous, but don't despair. There's always alternatives for you. But they say that those particular people, like 1 out of 5, will never have a job again, like trading time for money, time for money. The world is just changing. So we have to evolve. And I'm excited about the future of
Yeah.
the industry.
Well, it's
What
good
are
that
your
you're
thoughts?
excited.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people, like you mentioned, they really don't have hope. And as a matter of fact, I was having a coffee a couple of Sundays ago, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and this young lady, I would say young because I'm a bit older than her, and she was my service advisor at a car dealer, and I just invited her out for a coffee and just to see how she is and see if she's open to making more money, and she was. But the thing is, in that generation, I think she's right around 30 years old. And it's tough. And
Mhm.
from her
Mhm.
generation where, AI is coming, what are you gonna do? Right? If you don't have the skills, you gotta learn it, or else, you're not gonna get you're not gonna level up, right?
Right.
And then people, maybe her parents, are still working hard at whatever they're doing and trying to get ahead. But at the same time, the society is changing so fast. And then for the people that are maybe 50, 60, 70, 80, well, we're set. We have money, but then we still, a lot of people, most people still need to work. Still, even half of those people still paycheck to paycheck. And I remember many years ago when I had my own business and I had lost a lot of money, and I was trying to save my business, save my little three-store retail furniture business. I was like, I was not open to anything. And when I talked to her, she wanted to make money, but she wasn't open. You know what the problem was? She was so scared because, oh my God, there's something. And I realized something because the lack of hope, like her generation, for example, they don't
Mhm.
have they are barely making it paycheck to paycheck. So they figure, and real estate is so expensive, how can they afford a house? So why save for a house?
Yeah.
Second, what I realized was as she was talking, I realized, you know what? Yeah, I say, oh, do you have a boyfriend? No boyfriend, right? And I see that there seems to be no hope to even start a family because they're just barely making it, right?
Yeah.
So why would they save their money? And as a matter of fact, when I met her at 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, and right where that cafe is, there's about 10 or 12 different restaurants. And I got there early, I was just walking around. It was packed with people who are in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then I realized something. You know what? Because of lack of hope,
Mhm.
they're out there just spending money because
Yeah.
they don't need to save for anything. And that
Right.
and impacts not only them, like I said, their parents, and then if you're in the sandwich generation, right? Even the baby boomer who are the richest generation because they made it, right? They accumulate the wealth. They control about 75% of the money. Um,
Right.
but the AI thing, technology, it is an issue for them. So, we're fortunate, our project with three, I find it as a solution. And I think it comes to mind that I believe people now realize from the young to the old, right? I mean, well, not that I consider myself old or you old. We're always young at heart, right? But I realized something. People just do whatever they need to do for the sake of doing it just for survival.
Mhm.
Isn't
Oh,
that that's so
absolutely.
sad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. And you said something very important because people are looking for hope. But yet we're conditioned in school. From the time that we're born is that listen to your parents, go to school, listen to the teacher, get good grades. They train you to be employees. You're told what to do, and then you get out of school, high school. Some go on to college, some don't. But then they get there and they're waiting for directions again to be told what to do.
Ex-
And then and so it sometimes when they are introduced to this industry, they're like, what? They're not too sure because it's so foreign because they've been kind of almost brainwashed. Do this. And then they wake up one day and say, what happened here? And I think that's where I was 43 years ago. I was a teacher. I had come from a family of my way back. My mother and father were even college graduates in the 30s, which was quite remarkable in those days. But I was trained that it was non-negotiable. You were going to go to school and you're going to go to college. And my mother said, well, the reason you go to college is you learn to communicate with your husband so you can
Yeah,
marry a college graduate. I mean, where did that ever come from? I don't know. That's that old thinking or whatever. But when I graduated, we were teachers or nurses. Women didn't go into business, but I did what I was told to do, and I think so many people do that. You know, we
yeah,
have, um, you know, we have like 1% of the world, writes their goals down on paper and 3% have it in their heads, but 79% daydream and 26% have no goals at all. And so all these people down here, 96% are waiting to be told what to do. And you know what I hear too, is that when I'm doing Zoom calls and listening and presenting this opportunity, I hear so many people say, I sent out 1,000 resumes. They've been laid off. I sent off 1,000 and didn't get one response.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So you have to adapt to the new
Yeah.
society.
Well, I think, also what you say is perfectly. In school, they don't train you. They train you to get a job. They train you to be
Yes.
good at some specific thing. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. My friends, I have one of my best friends. He's a dentist. His wife is a OBGYN and a baby doctor. They have a great life. But how many people are like that, right? Most people are not at that level as a professional. But then again, if the school system really care about you, they should have trained us, taught us about personal finance. Besides being educated, we should learn how to be an entrepreneur, how to be independent, and that's the thing, many years ago when I came upon the choice of having to work for somebody, having my own business, I wanted that freedom. I wanted to set my own hours. I want my own destiny, and so, but at the same time, I was too young and didn't know that to be successful in anything, the shortcut is to have a mentor or find people to work with who know more than you. And so today, we're lucky to be on this call with you, Christine, as we talk about our project with Three, because in Three, it's a very simple business, isn't it? Because look, who
Yeah.
doesn't want to do something extra that has some purpose and then make some money in return and get healthier as a result? It could be that simple. That's it. And so, like, as I was talking with my friend, Diana, who's like 30, around 30 years old, I realized, she has no idea where she want to go in life. All she see is the hopelessness. I just
Mhm.
want to offer something so simple to her. With Three, with this project, when we started in 2023, so just barely over 2 years, we're into our third year now, beginning of our third year. And we found Daniel Piku, the founder, owner of Three, to start a company with us. And there's a whole bunch of us, like just like yourself. We've done seven-figure, eight-figure US dollar in our career, multiple, and we just want to pay it forward because
Mhm.
successful people, we understand about value. Value what we our value, but also other people's value. Not necessarily the value that see in the bank account, but the value of them as a human being, as their potential, what they can do, because we were all there before. We all struggled before. And actually, like I said before, a lot of people, they don't know the shortcut is to work with the right people. So we decided to talk to Daniel Piku to build this company together. And then with Daniel came Dr. Dan. What do you think of Dr. Dan, Christine?
Oh my gosh. That was one of the things when I was looking for a new company, because kind of going back, I was with one company for 27 years. It was one of the great giants, and it was great. But at that company, I was forced out at 65, like mo a lot of people in corporate America, or even before now. Uh,
Mm,
and and so I was looking for a new company, and there were a lot of companies out there. And I believe in our industry because, it's a $200 billion industry. It's bigger than the NFL and movie industry combined. We built more six and seven figure earners out of this whole arena. Different companies in there. But you know what is great? Which is great for our business. It's in about 6, 7 years, it's going to be over 400 billion. I feel that's opportunity. All these poor people that are looking for something better. But I really knew I wanted to be in the supplement industry. And why? Because in 2020, the supplement industry was like 60 billion. This year, worldwide is 500 billion and going to $1 trillion. Now, that's the kind of business I want to be in. I don't want to be in the handbag or jewelry business. They buy once in a while. I want something people consume, they get emotional, and they order every month. There's a system all set up. But
That's right.
here's the dirty little secret. Most supplements are manufactured in two or three big companies in the world, and they're not really regulated. And
Mm,
I didn't want to be part of something like that. 83% of what you see on the outside of the bottles is not inside. You get 10% absorption. I said, I
yeah.
only want to be with science-based. If I'm going to represent a company, it has to be provable, scientific. And boy, when I met Dr. Dan, oh my gosh, I said, are we so lucky to have Dr. Dan, a world-renowned scientist. Everybody wants Dr. Dan, and he is our formulator. So,
I know, and he's so smart,
yes,
and you know,
yeah,
like it's so refreshing for me. Instead of meeting some doctor who want to make some money because they put their name
yeah,
on the supplement, right? Dr. Dan is a scientist. He was a professor before, academic. So
yeah,
everything he talks about has to be documented. You know, and also as an academic, you know, he consults for pharmaceutical companies, supplement companies, and now he's going to come out on his own and really, you know, for many years he's looked into phytonutrients. He's an expert in that. You know, he
yeah.
talk about over 650,000 species of plants out there, and less than 1% is explored for medicinal purposes. And then he talk about not only it's not like you get put some herbs in the bowl and grind it, right? You know, and he's like talk about pulling each molecule, extracting the right molecule that does good in your cell. And they talk about how the products are formulated, especially curated, right? Where
Yeah.
it maximizes absorption. And that's the thing, you know, like it reminds me, you know, the other day I was at Whole Foods, okay? And I was looking at all the supplements. There's a whole wall of them, actually quite a few walls of them. I'm like,
Mhm.
which one has a clinical study? Wait. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
they don't. But ours have three third-party clinical studies. And it's so
Excellent.
credible that, you know, aside from other clinical study that backs the ingredients, we're registered in the PDR. It used to be called the Physician's Desk Reference, a huge book that doctors go to look up pharmaceutical products. And also, you know, in that book, actually, I've seen one physically. So there's more than 3,000 pages. And the last maybe 20 pages is about supplement. So there's
Yeah.
very few companies that can put their supplement in that book, which is very strict because that's a very important reference for medical doctors and nurses. So we are so fortunate because Dr. Dan knows the industry. He put all six of our supplements in there, even the skincare, and just so. Well, maybe I should have the company announce it. But you know what? I'll spill the beans. Even our newest moisturizer with the unique mountain caviar ingredient that's never been used in
Yeah.
skincare before, we just got that register in the PDR. Prescribed
Wow.
now, so the book turned into online now. It's called Prescriber's Digital Reference, and you
So
know,
we have the moisturizer now. That is
yeah,
great.
and yeah, the
Yeah.
serum and the moisturizer, and
Oh my
and
gosh.
so it brings a lot of credibility because look, me and you, we have done very well. You know, we make millions in the industry, but what's most important is if we're going to do anything, it has to be something credible. So, and
Absolutely.
that's why we have so many medical professionals. You know, maybe they're in it just for the benefit and for their patients. You know, aside from building the business, but we have that credibility here, and all that those materials available in PDF and videos to everybody.
That-
But you know, from there, that foundation, you know, we also have what the energy drink that Dr. Dan spent a couple 2 to 3 years adding in, where it's 100% natural. There you go, you have one, right? A little pep up, right? It's
Yeah.
you know, my brain lights up like you know when I drink it, right? But something like that, 100% natural, you know, no sugar and no bad stuff for you, much better than anything on the shelf out there. And it costs less than that. That's where we want to be in building a business. And I think from a business point of view, where it can be so simple, where we can be more healthy because the product actually works on our cells and also on our genes. This supports healthy gene expression and
Yeah.
good health. You know, like we have all the essentials to have good health. And then you know and we can live like you said 120 no problem we keep using good products out there but But
Well, that, I want to just interrupt you on that point.
yeah,
Very good, Samson. And we're talking about, because we do have the epigenetics where they turn the bad genes on, the good genes on, and so it is really important because I was listening to the business line this morning and they said people are going to live to 95 or 100 years old. So they have to make money too because we have all these wonderful products now. And I know without a doubt, I will live to over 100. So I got to make more money, you know, and we all do. And you mentioned that earlier. People are retiring and they don't have enough money to retire, and but they're looking for good supplements.
yeah,
It's not really a should you take it. It's absolutely mandatory. Once in a while I'll have someone say to me, "Oh, well, I don't need to take supplements. I work out, I eat clean, I healthy. My grandmother lived to 100." Well, here's the reality. Your grandmother probably lived to 100 because she had good genes and the soil was different. You could eat off the land, but today the soil's been depleted and you don't get those molecules. And there's no
yeah,
molecules in pizza or ice cream. So we got to get them back in our body. And so it's just like we're so excited because, and I'm so excited to be part of this company to be healthy and 82 years young, starting a new adventure and traveling around the world,
yeah,
and helping people have
yeah.
a new platform of health and wellness at the same time and give them hope.
Yeah. You,
Yeah.
you know, one of the big questions people always ask me, so how can I make more money? How can I make
Yeah.
more money? I said, well, if you're open to it, right? I joke, look, if you're not
Yeah.
allergic to money, if you want
Yeah.
me to share with you, I can share with you. But it's a whole MBA course in what we do, in a way. But the simple idea of, look, most people they make one type of income called linear income. When they do
Mhm.
something one time, make money one time. When they sell
Mhm.
insurance, real estate, or you trade time for money, right? You show up for work, you get paid. You don't show up, you don't get paid. Okay. So that's
Right.
linear income. But you know what Warren Buffett said? Look, he said if you cannot make money when you sleep, you're not gonna get ahead. Okay. So then,
Exactly.
of course, he's talking about investing, but at the same time, another way to make income is when you build a business systematically in a system that where you work the system, but the system also works for you. So you don't have to be there. You can for example, I used to be in real estate. I used to be in the retail business. The bigger my business, the less time I have.
Yeah.
Because at that time I was just too young in my 20s. I didn't realize you need a system so that it will operate on itself with or without me. That's the ideal, right? So in three, we have a system where, look, it's an online store. Everybody gets one when they start the business. $30, that's all it costs. You have a tremendous back office to keep track of every single order in your business. And then and also have those marketing tools. You know what I love? I love to send people to three international Instagram or Facebook and let them just swipe themselves, right? Good quality social media done by
Mhm.
the company. We can share all that. And there's also people are welcome to follow different leaders and repost, some inspiration about what's going on and really spread the word. But at the end of the day, business is about trust. It's about trust. It's about relationship. And I don't think AI can ever take that away, or else
Yeah.
it's just transactional. If you want to build massive business, it's way more than just transactions. It's about
Mhm.
relationship, right? We all know that.
Mhm. Mhm.
The relationship could be built different ways. So through from a linear income, we can go to leverage income, where we can leverage the system to work for us. Because like in any business, as you start, you're by yourself, but you also can get paid overriding building a team of people to increase your marketing power, right? It's like, you know what? When one person say it's good, people would doubt. When there's like thousands of people like cheering it on, that's something else. That is like a movement. So what we have here is really an opportunity to increase ourselves, to elevate ourselves, get in a community of people where can iron sharpens iron, right? I mean, look, if like not to compare, but they always have that auction where people would pay to have a lunch with somebody famous who's a billionaire, right? But if only people knew what they can learn from you, Christine, for example. You know,
Well,
they would pay to just get your advice on how to get ahead in life. You know, when like the really young people, they don't listen to old people, but that's a mistake because old people, it's not that it's a different time, but there's certain wisdom that lasts forever.
mhm.
So that's why we're here. That's why I believe me and you are here. We want to guide the next generation. Hey, say, you know what? There's something else out there. It's not taught. I mean, how many colleges have school of entrepreneurship? Very, very, very few. So it's a fact of life. It's a matter of life. And now, though, we have opportunity to spread this. So people can make linear income. They can share products. So, and people can buy from the website. But on leverage income, you can override business from around the world. And the company just drop ships to them. Products that can help you stay younger, help
Yeah,
support
there's
healthy inflammation.
apps.
Well, yeah, through the app, through AI, right? Like
Yeah.
now we have Dr. Dan AI. He uploaded all the knowledge base, so
Mhm.
you don't have to ask Dr. Dan directly. You can ask the avatar, and they can tell the product information. It's so easy. So it's just a matter of connecting with others and find out what they need. And
Yeah.
that's the exciting part, where we come together. I love connecting. I love
Yeah.
connecting. Now, Christine, let me ask you. Look, to start this business is $30, right? And they can buy one product, they can buy packages of product with good
Right.
discounts on it at
Mhm.
wholesale prices, or
Mhm.
then they're open for business. They can sell retail, right?
Right.
25% get paid the next day, and then
Yeah.
other commissions come weekly every week. I love getting paid every week. I love it. I love it when the email comes, you are getting paid. I say, oh,
Right. You get the email on Friday, you
yeah.
get paid on Monday.
That's right. And the thing is, I think people know now in three, we're very different because the people are different. We're not just flying the night. We are here to
Mhm.
support everybody. That's why we have this Zoom every Monday. We have Zooms Tuesday and Wednesdays. And then also the individual leaders, they have their Zooms throughout the week. I mean, it's rocking right now. 15 markets, folks, North America, US, Canada, and through most of the countries in Asia. We're just starting. And I think timing, maybe you can speak something about timing. What do you think about the timing of three? We're just starting we just got our 2-year anniversary in June. We're just starting. What do you think about the timing?
Oh, I think it's perfect. I mean, actually, that was one of the things when I even looked at three. I really had to look at the leadership and see who the leaders were, who was it attracting before I would even set foot in. Because if you don't have enough funding and you have the right leaders, the right product, your business can be gone in 2 years. Well, we have hit that mark. We are debt free. We're moving on up. We're like this and just ready to go into momentum. So it is a perfect timing to
Hmm.
join the company because everybody's going to hear about three. It's
That's
going to
right.
be either from your neighbor or from your cousin or from us or someone, but it will be a household word name. And it's going to be huge. The future belongs to those who adapt faster than the market shifts. And see, we're right in this market shift. And success favors the bold, the prepared, and the coachable. And that's
Yeah.
all you have to be. Are you
Yeah.
coachable? Are you willing to be an entrepreneur and change your life
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have
And
flexibility?
that's the thing. Look, people can jump in part-time or full-time. It's up to
Yeah,
them. But it's an opportunity, it's a chance. And I love the word that you use, got to be bold.
yeah,
Because nowadays, I think, look, to be honest, I mean, you mentioned about COVID. I totally agree. I think a lot of people lost their voice,
yeah,
lost their agency,
yeah.
lost their will.
Very good. Yes, I
And
agree.
you have to be bold to get ahead in life. But it's okay to be scared. It's okay to go into the unknown. But we are building this community of entrepreneurs who are so experienced and will tell you what's around the corner. And that's where it is. And timing is so important. As a matter of fact, it's funny the way you mentioned it because it's going to be a household name. What happened? A couple of days ago, I got a text from a friend I haven't heard from like a year and a half. He said, "Oh, I'm at this restaurant. Hey, I saw a flyer from your company." I said, "You kidding me, right?" So if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else.
Mhm,
That's what's going to happen.
mhm.
And this is the time, like I said, like you said, would be full momentum. And I love that because you want to be ahead of the trend to catch people coming to the trend.
Yes, yeah. Growth is not reserved for the lucky. It is earned by those who are willing to think and act differently.
That's right. I'd rather be
Mhm.
that 1% than the 99%. What about
Yes,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and nobody gets left behind in our business.
Yeah,
Um, they stay behind. We have all the tools. We have the product. We
yeah.
we have the awesome Kim Lee. Who is a legendary trainer in our company and the world. I love this lady. And you, Samson, of all the experience that you and Kim have brought to this company, I learn every day, even though I've been in 43 years. And she is masterful and such a visionary. And of course, our owner, Daniel Pico. So
Yeah.
I could go anywhere. I could go to any company in the world, and I chose three
Right.
because I know this is where it's going to be at.
Well, it's an honor to work with you, Christine.
Oh, it's
And
my honor to be with all of you.
well, all of you out there, iron sharpens iron. This is how we elevate each other. And this is how we grow together. This is how we thrive together on this incredible business model called cross-border e-commerce. Look, thank you for the time. On Monday, you could be spending your time with your family or wherever you are, but thank you for investing the time here with us and also in yourself. Just get back with the person who ever shared this podcast with you and find out more information. We are here. So we have another, webinar tomorrow and Wednesday. So looking forward to see you on the call. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for your time. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you,
night.
Samson. You're the
Thank
best.
you. Bye bye now,
Bye-bye.
everybody.